Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sam's YouTube channel, and welcome back to the Great Smoky Mountains map. This is episode number 2. We are in the same game day. I'm going to kick that time up to 5x. And this was another reason why I wanted to play this map is what you see in front of us here. No, I'm not talking about the Dodge Ram. I'm talking about the Texas Roadhouse. Um, if you guys don't have a Texas Roadhouse near where you live, I am sorry. That is, while they make some awesome steaks and burgers and stuff, their rolls, their rolls are absolutely, positively to die for. And so Billy Bob, Jack, and I just came down here for lunch. Early in the spring, we have the opportunity to take a little bit of maybe a laid back approach, especially the first few game days of spring. We don't have a whole lot going on. We're opening up our fields and getting that stuff, getting those fields ready to plant. But we do have a little bit of a more laid back approach. And so since this is kind of our first game day here on this map, I thought I would celebrate and take Billy Bob and Jack for lunch. And so we are just finishing up. Had a bit of an early lunch. Went up there about 11:30 and wrapping up here at about 12:30. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is we need to run them on over here to their equipment. Billy Bob was in the process of putting lime down on this field, so we're going to go ahead and let him get going as we pull over here, and we will, and then Jack will resume. Jack will resume his operations of going ahead and plowing this, and we're going to go and start. Let me get Billy Bob going here. Hopefully, oh, he forgot his course, but that's okay. We've got it saved here, and we'll go over here and we'll do nearest waypoint, and we will drive the course, and hopefully Billy Bob will just keep on going there. All right, so let's jump out there. We don't need to ride along with him, and we'll walk back over here to our truck, and then we'll get going. So one of the things that I did do before, between episode 1 and between episode 2, was I went back to my older version of Courseplay. Now, I don't know, I was running the latest and greatest version of Courseplay for that first episode. And you might remember I had had to take 2 or 3 pauses to go and sort Billy Bob out because he was having problems slipping. And between the time that I last updated Courseplay, which was back in March, and to now in mid-September, the functionality of Courseplay has changed tremendously, as I'm sure you all know if you have stayed up to date on it. And what I was noticing is, especially, I like to set up a headland course, and obviously have the tractor do the headlands first. And normally, at least with this version of Courseplay, the tractor, the driver, AI, would make his headland, and he would just make those turns as he went around the field without stopping, backing up, and all of that. And even though I believe I had that setting enabled, where it would make turns for headlands, the AI driver was basically stopping, backing up, and that was causing some problems. So I don't know. I probably just need to maybe revisit that version, and obviously all the changes and everything that have been made to that version. But for now, I went back to my older copy of Courseplay, which works just fine. And I'm sure there's some functionality, maybe some. Oh, see, he is stuck in the tree. So maybe it's not the version of Courseplay after all. Maybe it is just this map. I don't know, but let's see. Let's try to see where he was going. He should have been making a turn to basically go up that direction there. So let's try to sort him out. Some maps just are not as adaptable to Courseplay, if that is kind of the correct wording to use. I think he should have made that turn. and then he should be coming along here, and then we'll do drive course and see if he will resume on his way. All right. Some maps just aren't as compatible with course play as others, and I don't know why. I've noticed a few odd things about this map, with the way that some of the collisions seem to be a little bit sporadic. Now I know that my driving and everything leaves absolutely nothing to be desired, and that's okay. So just to recap here, we are running season, 6-day game, 6 game days per season, and we are good to plant wheat at 43 degrees. I believe we have a soil temperature of 45, so we're good to go there. So we're going to go ahead and start putting some wheat into the ground, and this seeder here will seed and fertilize at the same time, so we are getting our first dosage, if you want to call it that, of fertilizer as we're putting the seeds down. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I am actually recording this video a few hours after I recorded episode 1, so I don't know when they're going to air. Again, just kind of bear with me as best as you possibly can, and I'll figure out some kind of schedule, but I'm not going to get real crazy and everything about that, because videos may kind of be a bit sporadic here and there. And hopefully this little John Deere can make it up the hill with this big seeder. I suppose I should have grabbed my my larger John Deere, but Jack's going to be using that to plow here momentarily. And but anyway, yeah, I wanted to play some more Farm Sim 19, and I think that's going to be I think that's going to kind of be my theme with how videos and everything are going to come out from the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel over the next few weeks anyways, is I'm going to record videos when I feel like it. I know that is that may be odd for some YouTube content creators, and I have, I've certainly been there where I've tried to maintain a schedule where that folks can kind of know that they can tune into my channel and stuff again. Folks can kind of tune into my channel and hear and see the latest and greatest and stuff from me on a regular, reoccurring basis. And let's go ahead and just go get him unstuck, because otherwise he's just going to chew through lime like nobody's business. Stop the driver. But I think what I'm going to do is for the next, well, actually, I think he's done. I think he's done. I think he was done, and for whatever reason, he just didn't stop back there. So we're going to put him over here. We're just going to leave the AI for right now off, and we'll go back over here and get back in our tractor, and we'll continue doing what we're doing. Again, I think that's what I'm going to do for my own sanity, is I'm going to record videos when I feel like recording videos. I'm going to record videos when I feel like playing, and if I feel like playing but I don't feel like recording a video, then I'm not going to record a video. I'm not going to worry so much about necessarily continuity. Don't worry. I mean, you're not gonna miss harvest or anything like that, because I enjoy harvesting, and I enjoy those videos. And harvest obviously is a big part of the whole farming thing. But I will try to keep some continuity and consistency and everything. But I'm also not going to worry. I will tell you that there have been times, and I will fully admit, I'll raise my hand and say that, I have sometimes run my channel for the wrong reasons. I think everybody that does this, we do this because we enjoy the game. I think that's important. I have tried to put games on my channel that I didn't necessarily enjoy playing, or maybe I got burnt out on them or whatever, and I tried to continue to go along playing the game. But if I'm not having fun myself, then it shows. But also I think that we all sort of, those of us that produce content for YouTube, we want to grow our channels. We want to see the numbers go up. And even though I have said that, you know, I started this with basically 0 viewers, and I built my channel into 1,500 viewers. And I know that there are other YouTube folks that started around the same time I did, or after, or whatever, that have more subscribers. I have really got to a point to where that's not why I'm doing it, but at the same time, you still want to know that the content that you put out there is appreciated. It is enjoyed. And so, but I think for my own happiness and possibly sanity and everything as well. And I think that's the key word right there, is my own sanity. That I want to do this, you know, when I want to do it, and I'm gonna do this how I want to do it. And people are either going to like that, or they are not going to like that. And that is, that's really, I think that's the bottom line. That's sort of my bottom line. And if folks don't like it, then that's okay. You know, that is absolutely okay. Let me back up here. And we'll drop her down and head back down the hill. This does sort of remind me a little bit of Coldborough Park Farm, only from the aspect of the elevated fields and stuff like that. Some of those fields are kind of back behind the main barn and everything on Coldborough Park Farm had some hills and elevation to it, and that was quite interesting. But anyway, we're just gonna trudge along, and we're gonna go ahead and get the seeds in the ground for at least this field. And I will be doing some. I'm going to be doing some off-camera work, just to kind of move the story along. And you know, I've also sort of found out, maybe a little bit the hard way, that if I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, I really struggle in trying to produce content. And if I don't have anything to talk about, it can get kind of boring, I think, just watching me run around and around and around the field. And while I'm thinking about it, let me go ahead and hide my HUDs, and let me grab a screenshot, because I am just as forgetful as ever about getting my screenshots done. There we go. And off we go again. So if you were hanging about the Simulation Gaming Society Discord server, or maybe even Atomic67 G's Discord server, you may have saw some photographs I posted and talked about smoking a brisket on Saturday. And this was Saturday the 14th of September. Boy, let me tell you, that brisket turned out incredible. That has been my best brisket, my best smoke ever, I do believe. I grew up eating barbecue. Grew up, obviously, being from Texas. One sort of does that. And my dad had a smoker. He had all I really remember about it, I don't remember what brand it was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a Weber. It was an orange smoker, the kettle type smoker, or the bullet type smoker, where you've got the fire at the bottom, and you've got a water pan, and you've got, you know, 2 racks or so. And it was pretty good size in diameter. I think it was probably at least 18 to 20 inches in diameter. He could put a full packer brisket on there, and some ribs, and a couple of chickens, and, you know, we could just go to town with that. Well, you know, I remember, probably my earliest memories of this was probably around 10 or 11 years of age. And of course, all I remember is that my dad got up super early, and he was usually, you know, up, and the smoke was bellowing out of the smoker, usually by the time I would get up for Saturday morning cartoons. And it was smelling nice and everything, and I pretty much knew that was going to have good tasting barbecue for dinner. But that's about all that I really knew about it, I suppose. And so As I got older, he sort of handed over some of the responsibilities and everything, and kind of taught me his methods and his secrets, if you want to call them that, for the way that he smoked his meats, especially brisket. And brisket is my favorite by far. Brisket is my favorite barbecue type meat in that traditional sense. And so as I was in my teen years and such, I would pretty much took over pretty much all the responsibilities, and I would get up early and get the pit going and all that kind of stuff. Well, um, probably one of the worst things that a person that enjoys barbecue, and again, I'm talking about the traditional sense of smoking brisket or ribs or whatever, low and slow type of cook, not a hot and fast method, but low and slow. One of the worst things that somebody could do that enjoys cooking that type of meat is to move into an apartment complex, because most apartment complexes, at least those that I had experience with both in the Dallas area as well as here in Denver until we bought our house, do not allow any sort of charcoal type equipment at all. They'll allow a gas grill, but they will not allow charcoal, and for obvious reasons. I get that. Um, so I sort of, for the last 20 plus years, I have not smoked anything. I've never owned a smoker in that span of time. And so one of my work colleagues at the office has a Traeger, a pellet smoker, and I know that our friend of the channel, DC Dave, has a Traeger smoker. And so I was kind of leaning towards that. Obviously, a Traeger smoker is kind of set it and forget it, and there's a little more to it than that. But obviously, the heat control and all that kind of stuff is somewhat automated, especially if you compare that to a traditional charcoal type smoker. So I was kind of leaning in that direction. But to be quite honest, because it's just my wife and my wife is not a huge beef fan, nor is she a huge fan of smoked meats. Now, she does like some smoked fish, stuff like that, but she's not a big fan of smoked beef or pork. It would just kind of be up to me to consume this, which isn't, it's not bad at all. That just means if there's more left for me, and I can smoke a brisket like I did last night and bag it up and throw it in the freezer, and basically know that I've got some good barbecue for Saturday lunch, or Saturday and Sunday lunch. That's kind of how I bagged them up, was for two portions, 2 days. And so anyway, I was kicking around the thought, the idea that I kind of wanted to get a smoker. But again, I could not necessarily justify the price tag of 700, 800, 900. I even looked at some of those Komodo smokers, those egg smokers, and those things. Most of those start upwards of 800, 900, maybe even $1,000 for those or more. And again, just could not justify the cost at all. Could afford it, just can't justify it. And the other thing is, here in Colorado, because of the way that the winters are, it could not replace my gas grill. There's no way that a Traeger, even though it can cook, it can sear, and it can do things like that, it just could not replace my gas grill. I grill year round. I will go out and hold an umbrella sometimes to keep the rain off of me or keep the snow off of me. There's been times that I have shoveled a path to my gas grill, but I just, cannot justify the Traeger. So instead, over Labor Day weekend, I went out. My wife says, "Well, why don't you get you a smoker like your dad had, like I remember from my childhood and my teens and late teen, early 20s years." And so I did. They were running a special on Weber Smoky Mountain, which obviously is kind of interesting because we're playing Smoky Mountain map here. The Weber Smoky Mountains, I bought the 14-inch, the small one. It's about the size of R2-D2. And but let me tell you, it packs a powerful punch. And this is the second brisket that I've done on it. I did a beer can chicken. That was the first smoke that I did over Labor Day. And then on Labor Day itself, Monday Labor Day, I did a brisket. Well, my first brisket didn't turn it. It was okay. It was very flavorful. It just wasn't as tender as it should have been, and I just committed a whole bunch of mistakes, and I've learned from those mistakes. And so the brisket that I smoked yesterday on Saturday, the 14th of September, is by far the best brisket that I think I have ever smoked in my entire life, even from when I was a child with my dad watching over me up until, like I said yesterday. That was the best one. It was tender. I basically let it fully render where the meat was tender. I could poke it with my temperature uh, gauge, and it had the consistency of peanut butter, and that's what I've heard is optimum for brisket. And so it was really incredibly tender and very flavorful, and just basically just an all-round excellent brisket. And I'm very, very pleased with the way that it turned out, and looking forward to the next opportunity to smoke something, maybe a pork butt or something like that, and get me some pulled pork sandwiches. That sounds kind of good. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, I know we are only at about 21 minutes here, but maybe about 20 minutes after I edit out a few things here and there. But yeah, I think we've pretty much done what we've needed to do for this session. It's about 2:20 in the afternoon here in our game day. I think that we've got, I think we're stuck. There we go. I think that we've got a little bit more work that we need to do this game day. I'm going to ease up there and probably help Jack and Billy Bob out with what they've got going on. And then when we come back for episode number 3, we'll probably be in the next game day. I think what we'll probably do is kind of go back to my old ways. That is, if I feel like recording and playing at the same time, probably try to do about 2 episodes per game day, and that way we can kind of just move everything, move the story along. There's a lot of maps for 19, and a lot of opportunities to play some really great stuff. So we'll get through this one and see how it goes and see what is coming up next. But until then, I'm going to go up and plow that field up there for Jack, and we'll resume right back here at the Great Smoky Mountains map for episode number 3. Until then, take good care of yourself. God bless you all, and bye bye for now.